All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Day 27, episode 28, 40 days of 4VKM, 13 episodes left after this, right? Wow, time flies when you're having fun, right? And this is one of my favorite episodes, probably the most seen clip out of any 4VKM, whether it's on X or wherever. It makes its way around at least, and it is called Ultra Umaga Unmasked and Unleashed. Say that 5 times fast, right? And it was released on 5/20/2022. It's a short one, but very impactful, very fun, very funny, I think. I pop every time I watch it, especially the ending here. And, what are we talking about, right? So we've talked about Umaga was the wrestler that Donald Trump faced at WrestleMania 23 with Bobby Lashley, right? So Umaga, R.I.P. Umaga, his son now is actually a wrestler, follows me on X, so shout out to Zilla Fatu. He's, I think he's seen this clip, I think he's seen some of the Umaga stuff that has to do with Trump, because how can you not, right? I mean, it's right there. He was in a match with Donald Trump, his name was Umaga, and, all these years later, Donald Trump is the leader of MAGA, right, as Joe Biden likes to call it. So that's who we start off with, the big doofus, Joe Biden, right? And if you remember his speech that he gave about the great MAGA king. And the great MAGA king, he basically coined the phrase Ultra MAGA. And he called Trump, he said, my predecessor, the great MAGA king, right? So, you remember, it reminds me some of the pictures of Trump dressed up as a king, right? That's everybody's fear, right? Oh, he's going to become a king. He's never going to leave if he gets in, right? And then he likes to troll. We call it trolling, right? He likes to troll and tell them that, he's never leaving with the Time magazine cover with all the Trump, 2024, 2028, 2032, so on and so on and so on. And then Trump forever. And then he breaks it. Right? So, he's trolling. He's doing a little trolling. But Joe Biden coined an amazing phrase here, which was Ultra MAGA. And when I hear Ultra MAGA, I hear Umaga. I mean, how can I not, right? So, one of the things, day before this video dropped, actually, the U.S. Navy sent a tweet. And it was just perfect timing. I mean, I must have started this video already. I can never get one done in a day. So I'm going to assume I was working on it beforehand. And then this tweet dropped. And then people were pointing it in my direction. They said, hey, take a look at this. But it's the U.S. Navy. And they tweeted a picture of Bobby Lashley with the Street Profits. Now, funny thing about that is a year later, they would team up. Now they're in a group together called The Pride, right? So on SmackDown. So you have Lashley with his future teammates on the U.S. Navy ship, and they send the tweet out on 5/19/2022 at 8:06 a.m. And the picture is Lashley is dressed up in a suit. He's got a hard helmet on, and in the back on the ship it says "Beware of," and then a little further down it says Jack. Beware of Jack. And then he's Bobby right in the middle underneath it. So you can almost read it as beware of Jack and Bobby. So, I'm not usually smart enough to find these things out. A lot of time people send me stuff, and this was a perfect example. I saw this. I said, whoa. So somebody said, go take out a look at drop 8:06. Because the timestamp on the tweet was 8:06 a.m. So I went and I took a look at it. And I'm not seeing anything at first. It says scroll through documents, right? And I think there's a link to the documents. And what are the documents? It's the Assassinations Records Collection Act of 1992. And who are they talking about in that in those documents? They're talking about JFK. They're talking about MLK, and they're talking about RFK, right? So Jack and Bobby are in the documents. And then we just saw Jack and Bobby on the U.S. Navy tweet at 8:06 a.m. Maybe it's nothing, right? Maybe it's nothing. So the other interesting thing as I scrolled through those documents, like it said, is that you actually can see that there's a commander in the documents, and that commander's name is McMahon. Wow, that's a nice little sync right there, right? So you got McMahon, you got Jack, you got Bobby, you got Lashley on the, you know, the battleship, and you have that nice little lineup with the 806 timestamp and the 806 drop. So again, probably nothing but a nice little coincidence, to say the least, right? So what do I show you? I show you Beware of Jack and Bobby. You know, which Jack and Bobby? Well, Jack and Bobby. So, as we're showing you those documents in the video, we have Hillary Clinton. You remember when she was running against Obama in 2008? She made the remark of, you know, I don't know why everybody wants me to drop out. You know, if you remember, Bobby Kennedy, you know, was killed in June in the California primary, right? So, and everybody kind of took that as, what are you hoping Obama gets killed so you can win? Now, if you know Hillary Clinton, I mean, totally normal thing for her to say, right? But you know, that drew up some controversy. Obviously, Obama condemned it, right? His team went off. He was very diplomatic about it, but he wasn't very happy. But what was WWE doing at the time? They put on Barack Obama versus Hillary Clinton in a match, and they had two impersonators. They had a Hillary impersonator, they had a Obama impersonator, and they also have Bill Clinton impersonator, right? They call him Slick Willie. And the Clintons come out, Obama comes out, Obama's got the big giant ears, they're making fun of him, and they have a little match. So they're going through their match, and what happens, right? So imagine I forgot this happened. I might not even seen this when it happened. Or maybe I just forgot about it, right? But I'm doing the research, right? I'm saying, okay, show me all the cool Umaga clips, right? Because we're doing a video on Umaga now. And I see this Hillary-Obama match. And I'm like, no way. Umaga's not involved in that, right? Yeah, sure enough, Umaga comes down in the match and beats the hell out of both Obama and Hillary. He hits the Samoan spike on Obama, I believe, takes him out. And then, you know, he scares Slick Willie. Slick Willie leaves Hillary in the ring, right? He's like, honey, he's going to vote for you, right? And then Umaga goes, ah! Clinton runs, Bill. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Bill kind of left Hillary high and dry there. And then what's Umaga do? He picks up this Hillary Clinton impersonator in her pantsuit, and he hits her with a Samoan drop. Right? Umaga. This was 2008. So this is a year after, you know, we have the whole thing with Trump, Umaga, Lashley. But it's around that same time frame. So what are the odds? Umaga comes down, Ultra MAGA, comes down and beats the hell out of Hillary and Obama. You can't make it up, right? You can't make it up, right? So, I show you a clip too. Trump's very impressed with Umaga, right? Now, that was from the year before when Vince picked Umaga as his wrestler. Trump's on screen saying, I'm impressed with your man, Umaga, right? And, you know, so I show you that after Umaga destroys Obama and Hillary, right? Trump was very impressed. And then I show you a clip of something Vince McMahon said, which we're all just saying to ourselves right now, which is, can we get back to Donald Trump, right? I mean, can we get back to Donald Trump as president? I mean, I think we're all willing to skip, you know, skip ahead a little bit and get him back in there as soon as possible, right? So hopefully that happens. All right, so that's the Umaga clip, the first part of it, right? He's going to come back a little bit in the end here. But the next clip, I can't remember this kid's name, and I couldn't find it this morning. But he was making a ton of videos on X and Rumble. He's basically just trolling the left all the time. Like, he dresses up and, you know, basically defends all their crazy positions and whatnot. And he's super serious. He comes off super serious as he does it. But then he goes to a town hall, I think it's in Arizona, and he's, you know, dressed up as MAGA, right? Ultra MAGA, if you want to say. He's got the red hat on, right? And he goes through the whole shtick, right? Now, it's funny, VK tweeted this video out. and something along the lines of the caption of maybe not the best way to red pill people, but it's got all the hits in it, right? And it does have all the hits in this, right? So this guy, he gets in front of the town hall, totally serious, and he goes, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden is not the real president of the United States. What we're seeing is not really him. He keeps falling down the stairs, all this other stuff. That's actually Jim Carrey. Some people say it's James Woods. Some people say it's Clint Eastwood. I like the Clint Eastwood one. That would be funny, right? But, the consensus is it's not him, right? And even if you go back to some of the things that Trump said, what was he saying during the election 2020? He go, let's face it, Joe's shot, right? Like, it's not even him. He's said that a million times, so it's interesting. Now, when you go back to Jim Carrey, that's kind of funny because Jim Carrey played the mask, right? So, Jim Carrey played the mask. Is he wearing a mask now, playing Joe Biden? I'm not going to say 100% he is. It's fun to speculate, though. And actually, if you want to see some interesting stuff, highly recommend go look up some of the comparisons of Joe Biden falling and Jim Carrey falling. I didn't even realize this, but falling down has been like a hallmark of Jim Carrey's career. So when you kind of look at that compared to all the times Joe Biden has fallen down, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny, just to let loose and suspend reality for a moment, just like professional wrestling fans like to do, right? So, he says Biden's not the same guy. And I show you side-by-side photos of the old Biden and the new Biden, right? And I agree. They don't look like the same guy. It looks like two different people. I mean, remember bald chin? I mean, this was way after. This was like this year. But, like, what's going on? What's going on with this guy? It doesn't make sense. And he basically says this is all proof that the military is in control. And what do I show you? I show you the clip from Good Morning America where he says we're transitioning to military power. Are we? I don't know. What happened, right? He said the White House is a fake set. What we're not seeing is actually the White House. He said that it is Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta, Georgia. They have a White House studio as well at Tyler Perry Studios. And funny thing about Tyler Perry is that what's his whole shtick? His whole shtick is, dressing up as women or whatever, but basically disguises that you would never notice is Tyler Perry, right? So, kind of interesting. Then he throws in the little gem. JFK Jr. is not dead, but he will come back, but not until the time is right. Okay, I rock with that right there. I like that, right? I showed a clip of Murphy Brown. He's on Murphy Brown giving her a copy of George magazine. And, the crowd goes wild for him, right? That's when he's coming back. So it's very, very funny, right? And then we go back to a clip from 1999 WWF. And it's, I've talked about the higher power angle that they've done a couple times in WWF. Well, what they did in 1999. Something like 40 days, very close to when the actual plane crash happened, which is interesting too. But, so Vince McMahon, they set that angle up. Vince was already in the ring. He was covered. He had his face covered. He had a hood on. Nobody could see who it was, right? And then he played a trick on everybody, and he showed himself on the screen backstage, right? And, everybody doesn't think it's Vince because Vince is on the screen up front. And what does he say? He says, reveal yourself to the world now, right? Like, he's telling the higher power, whoever's behind the curtain, reveal yourself, right? It ends up being Vince, right? But as he's saying that, reveal yourself now, I'm showing you Joe Biden, right? Who's playing Joe Biden? Reminds me of a tweet that VK had one time where it's Biden and then like a chunk of his face missing, and then underneath the face of Biden is Junior's face, right? That would be kind of funny if Junior was playing Joe Biden at some points. We know that he liked to be an actor, right? He was an actor. What makes a good movie? Great actors, right? So, again, not saying that's what's happening, but I've seen a couple people speculate that point. A couple really smart people, too, saying, wow, can you imagine if it's actually JFK Jr. playing Joe Biden? Be very interesting, right? So now let's go back to that Umaga guy. Before Umaga became Umaga, he was Jamal in a tag team with I think his brother, who was either his brother or his cousin. I think it was probably his cousin, actually, who was Roman Reigns' brother, and his name was Rosie, right? So these guys were in a tag team called 3 Minute Warning, and Eric Bischoff, who I've talked about a couple times on here, he would always use these guys as his henchmen, right? So anytime he wanted to, rough somebody up, he'd say, about 3 minutes, right? And then as soon as he would say 3 minutes, these guys would show up and beat the hell out of everybody. So they're doing an angle on SmackDown where Stephanie McMahon is the GM, right? And Stephanie McMahon at this point, dressing just like Hillary Clinton, pantsuit. She's been pantsuiting it up. And this is in 2002. So Stephanie McMahon in the ring, she's there overseeing a wedding between two gay characters, Billy and Chuck, right? Or at least allegedly they were gay. And so they're doing this, this storyline. And this is like when gay marriage is one of those real hot button issues, right? So again, WWF, dipping into the controversy a little bit. And they actually had like all the LGBT groups were like giving them props leading up to this because they were going to do a gay marriage on television, right? And, you didn't see that back in 2002 still. So they're going to do this gay marriage. And they've got this old man that is, he's going to be the justice of the peace to marry him. And then at the last minute, this isn't in the video, but in the last minute, these guys are like, whoa, we don't want to do this, right? We're not really gay. This was just a publicity stunt, right? They say it on camera, right? So, Stephanie is kind of thrown off, embarrassed there, right? But as this is all going down, and those groups that came out and were in support of WWE, they were not so happy after that, the ending of the way that this whole thing turned around, right? So I think they probably pulled back their endorsements there. But, so you have Eric Bischoff is underneath a mask dressed as the Justice of the Peace. And he starts peeling that mask away, and then he reveals himself as Eric Bischoff, right? To the shock of Stephanie McMahon, because she couldn't believe it. And if you listen to Bischoff talk about this, was probably Bischoff's high mark in WWE television. And he'll even say this was the coolest thing that he ever did. He was in makeup, getting that thing put on for hours and hours and hours, and then the entire day he was backstage, nobody knew that it was him. Right? That's how good the masks were in 2002. Imagine how good they are in 2022 when this video was made, or 2024 even. So Bischoff's revealed. He calls his guys in, 3 minutes warning. Remember, Umaga is one of those guys, but his name's Jamal in this clip. So these guys come in, they start beating the hell out of Billy and Chuck. What's Rosie wearing? Rosie's wearing a big 27 jersey, right? 27 JFK, right? So you have Rosie beating the hell out of them, and then our guy, Umaga, takes Pantsuit Hillary up, or Stephanie, right? And gives her the Samoan drop that he gives to Hillary 6 years after the fact, right? So a little foreshadowing of what he was going to do in the future, right? But everybody's happy after he did, and we don't condone violence on women, obviously. This was a different time, and it's wrestling, right? So nobody gets hurt at the end of the day. They're trained professionals, right? So, but everybody went crazy when he hit that Samoan drop on Stephanie. You have Eric Bischoff pumping his fist like this, right? And, who else pumped his fist like that? Donald Trump. When Donald Trump won at WrestleMania 23, he does the fist pump, right? So, how does the scene end? It ends with Vince McMahon saying, "Umaga." So that's the clip. Very fun one. Very fun episode. Definitely check it out. Let's see if I get the name right. It's Ultra, Umaga, Unleashed, and Unmasked. Maybe not in the right order, but that's the video. Links below. please share it. Get it out there. It's a fun one. And again, maybe not everything is 100% true in there, but it's, like VK said, it's got all the greatest hits. So I think there's little nuggets of truth all sprinkled throughout it. So enjoy it. Don't forget, sign up or subscribe for VKM Podcast coming 2/21, 2024. For VKM.com. You can see all the other episodes. And the next episode's a big one. We're going into the whole Vince McMahon scandal as it happened, how it was foreshadowed in WWE years ahead of time. So you're not going to want to miss this one tomorrow. As always, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the show.